everybody? It is Matt. Wrestling with Whiskey is back with Corbs, Baron Corbin, Greg Hamilton, and our guests one more time, Danny B, who's technically Danny C, and John Hargrove from Bardstown Bourbon Company. Being the latest and greatest, how is everybody doing?
Awesome, man. We are so happy to be back with you guys. And tonight we have the best lineup we've ever had with these three bourbons. So looking forward to getting into them. It's going to be great.
Hell yeah. John, how are you?
Yeah, great. Been a couple months. It's glad to see you guys again. So excited for this tasting tonight.
We were joking before, Wi-Fi in the Rick House down in Bardstown is great.
Yeah.
Happy for you. Awesome. Corbs, Greg, how are you guys?
It looks like they're not letting him leave anymore. Now he has to live with the barrels.
Chain you to like the Ricks, and you just walk back and forth tasting stuff.
It's my new office.
not could be worse.
Yeah, not a bad place to be. If you got to be stuck somewhere, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Of course,
I want to
there anytime.
sure.
Except
John,
when they came back and they were like, hey, what happened to all the barrels? Like, well, you locked me here. I drank them all.
Just quarantine me in there with a drill and I'm good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's awesome. So everybody, the last time, we all kind of got together. We tasted through a couple of the previous editions of kind of everything. And since then, seems constantly there's new stuff coming out. Always, new collaborations, new of the series that you guys got going between Fusion and Discovery and everything. Just to kind of jump into the cloud hanging over all of us, how have things been there as things have started to kind of, stay obviously quarantined, but started to open up and everything? What's going on in that department at Bardstown?
Well, the great news is we are up and running, right? Tours, cocktail classes, the restaurant, obviously social distancing, limited capacity, but we're going. We're having guests in, we're sharing our bourbon, doing it the right way, the right regulations. But these new releases, we're getting in front of people, we're sharing this spirit. So it's been great just over the last couple weeks.
Awesome. And then obviously we were talking just briefly before we went live, not only open and seeing people again, but construction and everything, and obviously has been got some new stuff going up. Tell us a little bit about that, John.
Yeah, so as you guys know, we're going to be a one-stop shop here come June 1st of next year. We're building a 51,000 square foot bottling facility, fully customizable like we have the distillery currently. So really excited to break ground here recently on that, and the building comes in next month. So I know the team's really excited here and really excited to show it off once we get it built.
I can't wait till we can travel so I can get out there. I'm going nuts.
That's right. Well, me and Greg just drive out.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll do the show live right here in this couch pretty soon. We'll make it happen.
Oh, Greg, you're not invited. You're not invited.
I live closer than any of you guys.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
true.
point. That's the point. You're going to be so close, but no cigar.
We're just going to tease you with it.
Yes.
Just just dangle it. Guards
Oh,
at
we
the gate.
forgot, Greg. It was today. We told you tomorrow. My bad.
That's going to happen probably.
Oh, that's.
I have a question that's been driving me nuts. I'm starting already with a fire-on question. Why we change the labels?
That's a great question. Well, the easy one is the middle one, Discovery Series, which was previously green.
Yes.
And that is just so much in the industry associated with rye. That we were coming into that. Everyone's rye pretty much comes in with the green label. We want to save that green when we come out with our core Bardstown Bourbon rye. That'll have the green on it.
When are you feeling the rise coming then?
Could be. We're hitting 4 years in September, so John can speak to that when it's coming, but not too much longer.
Yeah, I mean, 100% produced rye. Look at the end of 2022, into 23. So patience is king in this industry. We got to wait for that really good 6-year product to come out. So
I like it.
That's pretty awesome. That's going to be.
And then, but you changed the color on the Fusion as well.
Yeah, a little more pop on a dark bar. One of the things we ran into, I don't know if those Chicago speakeasies, when you had Fusion and Discovery lined up next to each other in a dark bar, they were very similar.
Very true.
Right? So we need to differentiate a little bit, make it pop a little more. And then we also, you'll see we kind of stack the logo. If you have a Fusion 2, you'll see where the B is and how this is written. Really pops the brand a little more. Gets it up. So like, you know, you run into this situation at a bar where you can't tell what bottle it is. Then subtle differences you'll notice. Straight gold across the top to kind of unify the brand.
Yeah.
So some, you know, incredible team on that creative side as we're just starting this story and getting it all in line. So some positive steps there for the packaging, but still this great bottle that people love. This shape hasn't changed.
The bottle's fantastic. We discussed that last time. The shape of it,
the bottle is to stay for sure.
You know, the visuals through the bottle, all of it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But that's why I was like, what happened to the labels?
Hey man, you got to evolve, right? It's
the details. It's the details you learn as you go.
Yep.
Yeah, and we get feedback. We listen to it and make the what we think are the right decisions off the feedback. So
and you forget
constantly evolving.
You got, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, it's still relatively a new company. Like in the whiskey world, God, you're still a baby. And so, like, you know, you got to find different. It's going to take different paths, and until you kind of really establish. It could be, who knows, another 5-6 years before it's really like hone in on 100%. But you guys have done it so quickly, even thus far.
Yeah, I mean, our 4th birthday is in September, right? And we're already on our 7th, 8th expression out there, getting ready for our core lineup to come out here in the next couple of years. So a lot of exciting stuff coming down the pipeline.
And I mean, I don't mean to rehash. We talked about it briefly at the last time we all got together, but remind me again. And I think it's a great fact. There was something about like there was like a 5-year business plan, and you met that in like year 1 or 2, and so like now you're on to
So we originally opened this place up at 1.5 million proof gallons, and we had a 10-year plan really to just go to 6 million. Well, we quadrupled in size in less than 2 years, and we're on pace to make 7.3 million proof gallons this year.
Woo. Yeah, little ahead of the curve.
Right. Yeah.
Overachiever.
Pretty exciting. So.
But that's awesome. No, obviously says a lot about the hard work of the people behind the scenes and everybody, you know, doing their part to get it out there and everything like that. And still so much room to grow. How many states you guys in now?
We're in about 10, and then we're adding another 10 next year. We just threw on some more, so we're going to keep that expansion going. Some big ones coming up in the near future. But it's like we said, deliberate, slow build, getting in the right accounts. Also doing it the right way in key accounts, not just throwing it out there, right? Deliberate build.
My whiskey spot here in Tampa's got your guys' Discovery in there and Fusion.
Awesome.
Which is great to see, especially like when there's one that I'm personally just attached to at this point. It's cool to see it in different places. And I can't wait for you to get from Texas so my buddy will stop bothering me.
Just launched Texas. So they're at the distributor. They're about to go out into accounts very soon.
Okay. Love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I always send him all the pictures to make him jealous. He gets real mad.
Speaking of jealous, you guys are the first people that we mailed this out to, which is just the timing worked out. I probably should have checked on some clearance if it was okay to mail these. Not in our gift shop even.
It's not even out anywhere yet right now. So this will be the
first. You tell if it wasn't clear, you tell them to come get it back from us.
They'll go through Greg first, but then they'll have to deal with me and English here.
100%. So I mean, speaking of, you brought it up. So Dan, if you want to lead this way, let's kind of dive in. I don't know what kind of order you want to go in when.
Right the way you have it set up is perfect. Starting with the fusion, then we'll go discovery, and then with the finish. And just to clarify, that secret bottle again, that is just the sherry. I wasn't sure if you had the sherry bottle, so that is just a extra bonus you've got on the end there. So you can double up on the sherry.
I like it. You can never have too much.
Yeah, can't have too much of a good thing. Nobody's ever said that before.
Cool. So we're going to start with the new label, the Fusion series. Keep in mind, Fusion, right? It's a fusion between product distilled on site that's getting older, right? We started 2016. So with this Fusion 3 release, everything of our contribution is now 3 years old.
Yep.
So you've got a wheated bourbon, a rye bourbon, making up 60%, the remaining 40% sourced. Like you see in full transparency, right, goes right on the label, exactly what you're drinking. So Fusion 2, we still had some 2-year product in here. We're fully on all 3-year. And, this is a way to see what we're distilling as it ages, as it develops, to when we come out with our core product. And John, who heads up a lot of these blending sessions, can talk, kind of remind people how we got here.
So traditionally, a distillery would have a master blender once again, and I won't get too far into it. We utilize and leverage our teams across the board, right? Our culinary team, our beverage team, our distilling team. So everybody has different perspectives, and we really leverage that. And over a course of 5 or 6 weeks, we can develop a product based off different blends. So really exciting way we do it here at BBC, and very unique.
Yeah, that's really cool. I feel like sometimes we talk about that sometimes in wrestling, where it's like you can get caught in your whatever your professional bubble is, and sometimes you forget about hey, what are some of the other perspectives from people who aren't necessarily all day, every day in this. So it's kind of cool that you get perspectives from people in surrounding industries within your own, kind of group there. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, to have a chef blind taste whiskey or someone that's making cocktails all day, that's a valuable perspective that we should think about in whiskey. So yeah, keep in mind, 60% 3-year bourbon. So majority is a young bourbon, but it's just balanced out beautifully. Still around that 98.9, 100 proof, great spot for cocktails. This is the summer sipper right here. So, and you guys are some of the first people absolutely in the country to try this. So.
Fantastic. It pays to be the king sometimes.
Yeah, right? Take a whiff, boys.
Oh, wow. Hey, Danny, let me ask you a question, because I noticed as soon as I opened this one, and then also the Copper and Kings Sherry collab, these are both lower proof. Now, is that by design for the summer? Was the release, as far as the summertime goes, let's release it now while it's still warm, or just by happenstance? But I love that. This is fantastic.
Absolutely. Proof, it's something we're getting into, is something we're going to talk about a ton with Discovery, is we celebrate this art of blending, right? Making the best blend possible. We want to make proof a discussion of that blend, right? It doesn't make sense to do your perfect blend and then just release it at cask strength, right? We put another day in, another round of tasting all the different proofs and coming out at the sweet spot for that product, which is different for every product.
And if you remember, this is 98.9 for Kansas City and the Rocks.
That's right.
Which I did their radio show on Friday.
Yeah.
And we talked about something pretty funny called the Testacuzzi. I don't know if you've seen that anywhere on the internet.
I saw a picture you just put up of the Testacuzzi.
What? That sounds really inappropriate. I don't want to see your Testacuzzis.
Nobody wants to see that. But it's funny because I somehow stumbled across it on social media, and I was like, this can't be real. It's got to be a joke. And then I was looking at their website, and 98.9 The Rock was on there. So I brought it up on the radio station with Johnny, and he's like, yeah, we're supposed to talk to those guys. So they had them on the phone Monday morning, and they called me with the CEO of Testacuzzi, and they sent me a gold Testacuzzi.
That's great.
Yeah, we got a new item for our gift shop. That's great.
I guess it still pays to be the king.
This is great. This is great.
Dude.
Yeah, summer sipper right there. It's balanced. It's great.
What's going to be fun too is when we're done, I'm going to go down and get the 1 out again and the 2 out again, and I do it every time.
Yeah, and that's the cool
like
thing,
to
right?
take that
Our
ride.
product on all 3 of those is 60%. What you're getting is our part getting older and older, you know?
Yeah.
And it will continue until we come out with our core Bardstown bourbon.
But when you go
What's fun
1 to
about
2,
that?
there's a major difference. Like
Yeah.
you can really taste. So I'm looking forward to at least trying 2 to this one.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it comes back to what I have, not only just doing 1, 2, and 3, but which goes hand in hand with the transparency of it all, is you get to live the evolution along with it, because a lot of companies might, they put out this blend or whatever, they're not going to tell you necessarily what it is, and it's just this year's version of that. Now, but if you know, like, oh, this stuff's a little bit older, the whole blend's a little, I don't know, you get to kind of live that evolution with the brand,
Right.
with the bottle, and you can immediately. I was lucky enough to taste this a couple weeks back, and did it next to 1 and 2, and it's fun to see just this kind of like maturation, like no pun intended, but of like it gets deeper, it gets a little bit more robust. You get those vanillas start to come out a little bit more. It's a little less of that bite, but it's still there. I don't know. You can really live that evolution.
Yeah.
I think what's good too for people who are just getting into it is sort of the conditioning and evolution of the bourbon, as he's talking about. But this is so smart. You're conditioning people. By the time the 4-year, 5-year of your own juice comes out, people's palates will recognize Bardstown already from this being 60%. They'll get a look. Oh, wait a minute. I get that. I get a hint of that the way that I did with the Discovery. And like, oh, okay, that's really cool, man.
Yeah,
So,
that's
I had
it.
a question. So however, a core Bardstown bourbon comes out, whether it's 4 or 5, whatever, it's time for 100% Bardstown product. Does fusion go away eventually?
Yeah,
Okay.
fusion go away, but Discovery, this art of blending, will stay, right? So we'll do premium blends still. My hope is when we hit 10 years, we can use maybe some aged product in do our own Discovery, but
Do your own,
we'll give way to that core Bardstown bourbon.
That'll be cool.
You know what you call it then? Self-discovery. A journey inward with Bardstown Bourbon Company.
Put you on the marketing team. This is
Cool.
Awesome.
It really,
It's cool, and that's a great idea and something we encourage. If you have the ability, Fusion 1, I haven't seen in a long time, but if you're lucky enough to have a Fusion 1, line them up 1, 2,
I have half
3.
a bottle left.
Really, man.
And I'm keeping it for this exact purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Because this is going to be a fun process.
Right.
Imagine if we're 10 years down the road and I still have a little bit of Fusion 1 left.
That'll be amazing.
You'll be a more patient man than I.
Yep.
Yeah. The good thing is they keep my liquor cabinet very stocked, so I have other great ones to choose from.
Lots of options.
We do what we can.
Yeah.
But so what's fun enough as time goes, we just started. I was up in the Rick House yesterday, top floor, 100 degrees up there, pulling bourbons, thinking about Fusion 4. We don't stop moving on this. We're getting the next blend going, something that'll come out maybe 2021.
Sure.
Just checking in on products and
You
continuing.
guys see
It
this?
really is an evolution.
Stores around.
Yeah.
Make sure that you pick it up. It's worth the buy for sure.
Oh, my God. I'm like, who the hell is he talking to? I keep forgetting.
I thought I muted you guys on that one, so my bad.
Nope, I'm keeping
Good.
it.
I was telling the people that are hanging out and watching, because they're talking about where they can get it. They're talking about, the different types they have, and they're getting interested in what we got going on here.
Hey, if one of them has a question, it's pretty hard to stump Johnny on a bourbon question. So, you can chat
Johnny,
with him with that.
I've actually had one about this, about the Fusion series. As you continue then with this Fusion, will the percentage go up of the stuff that's strictly your juice? So you said this is 60%, right? Is that what this one is?
Yep. And all the
Will that continue
are,
to grow percentage-wise?
So we live by the motto, never really lock yourself in, right? So when we're thinking about Fusion 4, we'll try all these different blends. So we won't target, let's say, we won't let price really dictate on these kind of blends where our ratios are going to be. Of course, it's more expensive to go out and buy bulk inventory than produce it here, right? So quality is our #1 focus. So when Fusion 4 comes out, we're going to have a lot of different mash bills that we're going to be looking at, and different ratios we're going to be looking at. So we really think outside the box, and we really don't lock ourselves in there either. So
Okay, cool.
yeah, it's a really fun process. If you guys ever get the chance, I'd welcome to have you guys down and help us blend one of these expressions.
Oh, I'm down.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, so are you guys open now for people that want to come visit, or?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Tours, restaurant, cocktail classes, barrel pulls, everything. So if one of you, I'm not encouraging anyone to travel, but if you ended up here, we could get into some blending.
If somehow we magically appeared there.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Matt, you and I could drive.
Yeah, sure. I can meet you too.
Okay, time out. I'm
king-
in Florida.
the king
You can't
can get
go
us a
down.
jet. The king can get in his jet, and we can pick him up at the airport. And then,
Can't you borrow Big Show's jet or something?
yeah, man.
Maybe. I'll be like, hey, the king needs the jet. I gotta go.
Just ask the boss.
I think I could get away with it.
Yeah.
Or just drop me off. I mean, he's flying up to Connecticut. He can just drop me off.
Yeah, just a little swing between the two. Yeah.
So the next one I sent, I've been excited about this one all day for you guys to try. Both John and I agree that this is the bourbon of the year.
Whoa.
I think this, and John agrees, I think this is the best blend we've done. I think you're in for a treat to try this Discovery #3. And that's not marketing, that's true.
Yep.
Yeah, John, what do you think about this one?
I'm gonna have them try it first.
Okay.
Yeah, don't gotta tell me twice. That's for sure.
So remember, Discovery is all aged bourbon. Everything's sourced. This one actually breaks out into some aged Indiana bourbon. We don't say the source, but we do say the mash bill, so you can probably figure out where that aged Indiana bourbon came from.
Aged Indiana bourbon.
Yeah.
Choices are limited, boys.
Yes.
But yeah, absolutely. So I'm looking, because I brought my Discovery 2 out too, just to look at them. So, so they've all it's not like just a flip flop either. Like everything changed a little bit.
Yeah, we had a ton of options that were submitted for this one. Actually, a lot of people got on board and submitted blends with this one. And like all of them, by the time we get to that final test, it's pretty unanimous. This one was no exception.
Sure.
The last couple tastings, this was the unanimous winner. 13-year and 10-year put together, it's actually 77% 13-year bourbon.
Yeah.
The remainder 10-year bourbon. So a lot of age on this one. This is another one we wanted to explore proofing on. So it's knocked down just to 115. So still a big viscous pour.
Yep.
Not watering it down. We're just finding the point that it really speaks with the most flavor.
Yeah.
I'm curious to how many, when you're doing this, how many do you come across just like, that's not it? How much, with the blending process and finding where you want to be proof-wise, how much bourbon are you going through? Like how much?
A good amount, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't want to say an embarrassing amount, but a lot of aged bourbon. I think that's why it works so well is so many different people submit blends from different perspectives. When they vote on them, they're blind. They don't know what they're voting on.
Oh, really?
We start from scratch. Anything in, you could put together a blend of everything we have from 6-year in-house all the way up to 15-year of a bunch of different bourbons. And when you go in the room to taste it, you don't know which one you're sipping.
Yeah.
It smells incredible.
Way to do it.
You're judging it purely objectively, right? And when I set up these blending sessions, I will actually throw in finished product. So they will think it's all of our blends, but I'll throw in a finished product, let's say like a Kentucky Owl or a bourbon barrel, to see how we stack up blindly and objectively against what's already out there on the market and get true numerical feedback on that to judge the quality of those blends blindly.
Yeah.
This has a fantastic finish on it.
Yeah, this is dynamite.
Finish is amazing.
This is
Pretty
dynamite.
fantastic on most parts of it. You know?
This is it for us. This is our bourbon of the year.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can right off the bat that, you know, we all that Indiana high rye mash. I mean, like it makes itself present immediately with some of those, like those herbal floral notes that kind of just accent those super deep Kentucky bourbon vanilla notes and everything like that. So like, oof.
And this just lingers on the palate, man. This thing's still dancing.
Yeah, it rolls for
I'm still
You know what I'm
tasting
saying?
it.
It's a long finish. So
Yeah.
It's not
This is
a
what I like the
aggressive
most.
heat, you know, for 115 proof. It's not, you know, it's balanced.
It's not ethanol. It's
Yeah.
got complexity, flavor, richness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good night.
Killer.
It's still sort of lingering there.
yeah.
It
Jeez.
Fruity,
doesn't-
fruity on the finish. I love it. Spicy yet silky.
Yeah, so my opinion, very balanced, very robust, and a lot's happening on the backside on that finish. It's like chewing that Willy Wonka, that gum that has the dinner, the dessert, and you're just waiting to see what
Yeah.
is going to hit you next
We,
on that
we
finish.
should put that on the label, John.
Yeah.
You had the quote on the thing.
Yeah.
Man.
This one is magic, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
it's making Aiden dance. Things will get weird here.
Oh, it's all my life.
Yeah, this is to me is what bourbon should be. It's
This is good because it's the first time I've seen other people outside of our group have a taste of it and listen to the feedback. So once again, you guys are the first
Like-
one also.
So was obviously this one is at 110. What was the batch proof of this?
well, it's coming out. Let me just
Right.
think. Yeah, so probably around about that 118 spot.
Okay.
Take it down just a little bit, not a ton, but it really made all the difference. And so we tasted it all the way down to say 90, right?
Sure.
90, 95, 100. Take it up, cast strength. Same thing, blind, right? And you're tasting just where the flavor's most robust. Really taking the product to the end. This is where we think it should be proofed.
Yeah, and I've started to find as like I've gotten more and more into drinking whiskey and tasting whiskey. I feel like there's like these. It's like the life cycle of like a kid. It's almost, when you're first into it, it's got to be low proof because you can't handle the heat and everything, right? And then as I kind of started really getting into it, I kind of fell into the trend of like barrel proof or die, right?
Right.
130 plus, or else it sucks. And I was in that method for like 3 months, and it was like anything lower than that is wuss stuff. And then your palate matures a little bit, and you're like, oh, I find the most right in that 110 to between 110 and 120.
Yep.
Is where like some of the best stuff I've ever had lies.
Agreed. Well said.
So, I told you earlier, I got to run. Okay, I will say this: I had a bag packed. I'm leaving for my birthday weekend, and I had a bottle packed in my bag. This is coming for my birthday weekend now.
Doing it right.
Don't think
What
at all, buddy.
backpack are you using? Are you using a Bardstown backpack that they sent?
I might be, or maybe I am.
I love that backpack.
I do too, actually. It's actually pretty awesome.
That backpack's sweet.
Put it on the
But I
beach.
have to jump off. I got to get on the road. I'm running behind. This is my birthday.
Enjoy it, man. That's kind of you to share it on your birthday. Or are you just going solo on your birthday weekend?
No. My
You're
girl's
just driving
going
into the woods and drinking bottles of whiskey.
What's that?
You're just driving into the woods by yourself, drinking bottles of whiskey.
That's it. No, I will say, So my girl, she's into bourbon too, and the first Copper and Kings that came out, she was sick, and I would make her hot toddies, and I would just pour a little bit of that in there, but I didn't want to waste it. Well, she started to get a taste for it, and that was the last I got to taste it. She crushed it. That I didn't get to taste anymore, but she would just
get for sharing.
You gotta beware.
Beware.
Yeah, man.
Bottles beware.
And then come down, we'll get you a refill on that one.
Don, I can't wait to visit that. So I'm going to jump off. This is coming with me, and there will be pictures tonight and Friday for sure on my actual birthday.
Perfect.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, man. I will.
Cheers.
King, I will tell Dave Chappelle you said hello, sir.
You're leaving?
I have to. I got to get Yellow Springs, man. I just landed, came home, drank bourbon. Now I'm going to go on the road.
It's the last time you're getting invited.
Hey!
He's out.
Oh, maybe if everybody was on time, we would have been fine. But
I was on time. My camera just didn't work.
all right, boys.
Good.
All right, see it. All right.
Well, now that we dropped the dead weight, we can have some real fun.
Right? No, but that's a tough act to follow.
Right? That one's special.
Absolutely.
So that's the fusion, that's discovery. And the cool thing is we're still doing these finishes, right? So we're setting new ones up. We're working on new partnerships every day. This is the company we celebrate the most, Copper and Kings out of Louisville. This is their sherry finish. So they made a sherry, right? We put aged bourbon into that barrel. This I call, and John can speak to it, I really call it a sherry lover's bourbon. Mm-hmm. It's a pronounced, grape raisin, dried fruit note on there. Really what you get out of a sherry. 100 proof, drinks nice and smooth.
Hey, that's what this is too?
That's exactly what that is. I didn't know you had the bottle, so I just sent a sample.
You doubled up.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. A lot of people say Fig Newtons on this one.
I'm going to take it out of here so I don't have to open the other one.
I could get, I could get some Fig Newton on
that. Dan, go over.
You know how much I loved your guys' Prisoner. There was a bottle at Total Wine the other day. I had to buy it. So I reloaded Prisoner.
Great. So we're coming out with a second iteration of that's currently aging right now. So double the volume. So we'll have a big release, especially when we hit those 10 additional markets next year. So we're very excited about that one coming up too.
And that was actually going to be one of my questions too, was about, since with these collaborations, they've been a little bit of, I don't want to say like smaller run, but they're a little bit more limited, obviously, than some of the other ones. And so as you jump into 10 more states, are these still going to be trying to reach as wide as it can?
Right. So like the first one, let's say 40 barrels. This next one we're doing an 80 barrel release. So we're matching our go-to-market strategy with our inventories.
Gotcha. That's awesome.
Cool thing about that Prisoner iteration number 2, when I was up in the Rick House, we could swing by, because it's 5 different grapes. You have 5 different types of barrels, right? So you can go in and try the individual, like what's just the Cab barrel doing by itself? What's the Zinfandel barrel doing? And see how that blend comes. So I think that'd be a really cool project if you came up to check in individually.
That's fascinating. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we've got some awesome collaborations we're going to announce before too long here that will be some pretty big splashes. So we're working on it.
That's awesome.
But this is one of those very limited releases, right? Just small allocations per state, but a pretty special one. Also, this is a 12-year Indiana bourbon, so
right. The
very
colors,
high quality.
Color is ridiculous.
It's crazy.
And that's all natural, right? There's no added coloring. This is from the barrel, long finish, picking up those sherry notes, and right on the nose.
I mean, this color is, I can't get over the color. When I poured it in the glass and could really see it.
It's cool.
Such a rich color. So
no manipulation, right? All natural.
I mean, you're not kidding about a sherry lover's bourbon. Now, see, when I initially got this bottle, I caused some controversy here. I had.
I was going to call you out on this if you didn't comment.
Yeah, no, I did. I had a little bit of a bone pick. I wasn't sure because I've had one or two other sherry finish, not nearly as long, probably like 4 or 6 month finishes. And I was like, I love a sherry aged Scotch, but I'm like, I don't know yet. I don't know if I'm convinced how well it does with bourbon because I love like the cognac or excuse me Armagnac finish. I thought was like, oh, that's a perfect marriage. And I'm like, I don't know if that fruity lighter sherry mixes well with the bolder bourbon. Maybe that's what I'm having in trouble with. But that was right off of a fresh cracked bottle, and now this has been open week and a half, 2 weeks or so, and like it's softened, and like I'm getting way more of those those raisin dried fruit notes. It's much more. There's much more going on than even when the first time I had this. I'll tell you that.
That's awesome, and that's you're touching on a really cool point, which is the collaborative series is all about just making new flavors, right? New flavor profiles, seeing what we can do. They're small runs. They're just us experimenting and innovating. The other thing with sherry, it's an Oloroso sherry, which is a lot more oxidative, right? A lot rounder, richer than some other types of sherry. It really, compared to say like a Macallan, like a Scotch sherry,
right?
This is to me a more heavy-handed. It's really in there, dominant sherry finish, but it goes very well with those round bourbon notes.
Yeah.
You messaged me about this one when you said it was coming out, and you thought that it was next level, and I think it is too. And I like these really strong when you're bringing in those other flavors. That's why I loved your guys' Prisoner one so much, because you could really taste what you blended it with that wine. And I think that gets lost in a lot of them. Like the only other sherry cask that I have that is like stands out like this one is a Kavalan, which is like the one from Taiwan, and I bought it in Taiwan. But it is very pronounced like this. But if I'm gonna get a bourbon that is with something like a cab or a port or a sherry, I want to taste that in the bourbon.
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Dan.
I was just saying real quick, that's the difference between an 18-month finish and a 4-month finish.
Yeah.
And that's something in bourbon, like the Kavalan, a lot of those malts and those scotches, their entire aging process of the 8, 10, 12 years is in that sherry barrel or whatever.
Yeah.
But bourbons, when you're doing a finish, I would say 9 out of 10 of them that you find they're 2, 4, 6 months at most. I've seen one other freak outside example that was anything longer than 18 months, and that was some weird. That wasn't even a bourbon; it was a corn whiskey. But you don't see that, and I really think you need. I'm obviously not the expert. I think that at least 12 months before you really see that marriage of the previous barrel, really, truly starting to meld its way into the bourbon.
Yep. John's got 2 secret original Pfeiffer Pavitt barrels that I think are over 2 years that he undisclosed location.
Oh, he's hiding them.
Holding on to.
Yeah, they're about 27 months of age right now, so
they're right behind it.
Keeping an eye out on them, and we'll see where it goes. I keep tasting them, so if there's any left, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to come visit you soon then, I guess.
Right.
Is what you're saying.
We're talking about the aging of you're talking about mixing them in the sherry cask and stuff. I think part of the problem with this bourbon craze right now is people are rushing to put product out and they're losing that quality. I think there's some bourbons out there that you're getting your hands on that were incredible 2 years ago, but now they're trying to pump out so many different things to just be on that craze of all these guys that go into liquor stores and buy it all and then put it on their shelves forever because they're D bags. But you guys are doing it right. You're putting their product first.
Yeah, like I said, quality has to be number one. If you worry about quality the most, you don't have to worry about anything else because it's going to play out. So if you invest in a great team, you invest in the quality and the process, and you're consistent with it, you're going to come out with a great product, and it'll speak for itself.
Yeah.
Instead of allocating your assets elsewhere within the business. So.
Yeah.
You guys are proving you're doing that time and time again, even with just the releases in different states. Like, you're not going, all right, hey, we're in all 50 states, buy it all. Like, you're just
it's a measured expansion. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we get told this thing, I get told this at work all the time when I'm like, hey, let's do this at work. And they're like, hey, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I think you guys really envisioned that it is a long marathon. And people are just trying to jump on that bandwagon right now.
Well, the old adage, slow is smooth, smooth is fast, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we truly believe in when we're applying a lot of this across the board on our business. So.
Hell yeah. And I had the privilege of actually speaking with Mark Irwin, the CEO, a month and a half ago or something, right kind of in the middle of this whole crazy pandemic stuff. And not to toot your guys' horn too hard of it, but he was saying, despite a lot of the effects of that and everything like that, the business outlook is good over the next, couple of years. People are still coming to have you guys contract distill and age and do things. So like, you guys have proven that, despite even the harshest circumstances, you've got a model that, is still attracting a lot of people.
Yeah. This still right behind me, that's running, we're still going 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So it's going well.
Hell
but
yeah.
I think it's only fair now, since we answered the bourbon questions, John and I each get a wrestling question.
I'm down.
Right. Well, Corbin's the only wrestler anymore, right? So.
Oh well.
You still are. Don't act like you're not.
It's a joke.
All right.
Let's hear it, boys.
I'm going to ask the best moment of your match. Is it, because I'm assuming it's the walk-in? Am I wrong? The best energy that you have tonight, when it feels the best? What moment is that? Is it your speech to the crowd? Is it the walk-in? Is it the actual pin? Is it the actual match? What's the best feeling of the night?
Get him, Aiden.
Ooh, so. What makes this business awesome is that the answer to that question varies night to night. I've had moments where you come out and that crowd, I used to do this thing where I would almost like hum like I'm going to sing before I even entered the curtains. And there were certain crowds, especially on international tours. I was lucky enough, they heard that and it was just like that rumble in your belly just starts before you've even stepped on stage. But then other nights, I've had almost the opposite experience. I come out and it's crickets, and it's like, frick, this is going to be hard work now. But you get into the match, you get them going, and we're about 3/4 of the way through. I remember stomping the crap out of somebody, and I'm hearing this country who speaks another language. They don't speak English, but they start chanting, "This is awesome. This is awesome," whatever. And I was like, and we were like two guys who nobody really knew, and we were I remember stomping them and going, "Holy, this is awesome." And so like moments like that, so it really depends on, different things will strike with people on different nights. So that answer changes all the time.
Yeah, and for me, when my music hits and I hear an entire stadium of people start booing, that's always awesome. But there's a sense of pride for me in what I do in making people love the guy that I'm in the ring with. And so the most exciting point for me in a match is when I have the audience, or especially kids in the up close front rows, that like if I'm beating up Roman Reigns or somebody that they don't know all that well, and I'm really just putting it on somebody, and then that good guy, their hero, starts to fight back. The emotion that comes with that from the crowd, that's when I get like the chills, because I know I'm doing my job and making this guy a hero to all those people. Because if they don't have this big bad villain to beat him up, then we don't have any of these heroes. So for me, it's not even anything towards me. It's when they really latch onto that guy I'm in the ring with, and like, if I've been beating him up for 10 minutes and he all of a sudden escapes and, hits me with a punch, and that crowd loses their mind, like on something that small, because they're so ready for them just to destroy me, that for me is my moment every night when I get that guy that, just overcomes all of the adversity, and you feel the energy of all the people, because it is like people deal with crap every day in their life. There's no, especially right now, like it's unreal. But, they see me as kind of that everyday beatdown that you get, whether it's your 9-to-5 job or it's frustrations at home or it's your bills or whatever it is. And then they see this hero kind of overcome that. Like it's true emotion, and you feel every bit of it. So that's kind of my like most exciting part. And it's always cool to win. It's always cool, whatever. But when you get that true emotion from the crowd, that's where it's at.
And to piggyback off what Tom just said, and like there's kind of this adage in wrestling, like that's one of the things, and Tom's always been really good at this, and I like to have prided myself in being relatively good at it too, is that as a bad guy, that we played most of our careers, you really have to be like unselfish, because your job is, you've got your things here and there, but your job is to make whoever that good guy is, what he does, he's the hero. He's everyone's hopes and dreams are resting on him. And so even if you're like the bigger star or whatever it is, your job is to make that guy look as good as possible. And so it's like a funny thing on the inside in wrestling. They always say the good guys in real life are kind of the douchebags, and the bad guys are like the nicest guys. Because the bad guys are the ones that have to be so giving and like willing and like unembarrassed, and like we're the ones falling ass over tea kettle and making fools of ourselves to make the other guys look good. So bad guys are the good guys, and the good guys are the bad guys.
Yeah. I never knew you guys had that bond of being the two bad guys, and
there is a special bond with guys like us. I think that's why we connected, because we know it's like the same thing when I was an offensive lineman in college, in the NFL. Like if there's a sack or there's an interception, it's always the O-line's fault. Like you think about that. Like if the offense fails, it's the O-line's fault. And I used to lose my mind over stuff when they'd be like, oh, the O-line gave up 3 sacks. And I'm like, you mother effers, they were covered sacks, so they brought 7. We only have 5. Like, you don't know the details of what we're doing. And I would always lose my mind. But it's kind of the same thing as the bad guy. Like, they like to blame everything. But so we become like this tight-knit group because we know the struggle of what we do. And not many people want to do it, period. I mean, how many people want to help somebody else get the glory? Like, think about that. Like, it's pretty wild.
True.
Awesome.
True.
John, what's your question, man?
What's it going to take to get me and Dan ringside and maybe get somebody thrown on us?
Done. That takes what you guys already done.
That takes a text message.
Yeah. I got y'all covered for that. I'll personally throw the sweatiest man I can find in your lap.
That's funny.
All right, I'm going to flip it back then. So Dan and John, what are your wrestling names? You step in the ring.
Height, right? You guys have pretty tall. I don't know. Is there a giraffe in the currently?
I feel like I would just.
No, giraffe is wide open.
I feel like I'd just be like Lunchbox or something.
Lunchbox would be good.
Yeah. It's
come out just carrying bourbon barrels.
I feel like I have that Hacksaw Jim Duggan look, but with a lunchbox.
I like it.
I love it.
Yeah. Now, my real question is friendships. Like I was in the military, you really build a camaraderie around the people you work with and really make the best friends of your life. Is that something you see in your profession, in your career? How close you guys work with each other all the time?
Yeah, 100%. And I think, I'll back it with the NFL. The NFL was not like that because it's a big transitional business and a lot of egos, a lot of money. Like guys are just kind of in and out, and you don't make those connections. Like I talked to 2 guys from playing in the NFL, from being on a team for 2.5 years. 2 guys, that's it. But here, like, it takes a special person to do, what we do, because outside this pandemic, like I've been talking about this pandemic, I haven't been home in my house around my wife or any of this in 9 years, 7 years wrestling, but before that with football. Like the fact that I've been home for 4 months, 3 months straight is unheard of for me. So we're on the road, like normal world. When we get back to normal, I'm on the road 4 days a week, and all these other guys are too. And we're all in our 30s, 40s. We got a couple 20-year-olds, but most guys have a wife. Most guys have a kid. They have a family, animals. And when you're away from that 4 to 5 days a week, or 12, 13, 14 days in Europe, like you have to have a special bond because you're all making these insane sacrifices. Like I look at it now and go, man, how could I ever go back to that knowing I've been with my kid for 7 days a week, my wife, my dog. Like I've gotten to see things with because my daughter's 15 months and she's an absolute terror on the world. But I've gotten to experience all that, where before I was getting her 3 days a week. So you develop a special bond. Even when guys leave, like Aiden is on a new venture with what he's doing. And you stay connected. We're still sending text messages. You find those things like we're into bourbon together or whatever it is. We text each other, and we still bust each other's balls. You stay connected to guys even when they go on to another thing in their life. It is a lifelong bond you get with guys.
Yeah. I mean, that well said. And like to try out an old cliche, I mean, you're in the trenches with these guys and gals. And like Tom said, everyone sees what's on TV, once a week. But, again, during a regular schedule, there's 3, 4, 5 events in these small towns. And you have a car of guys of 3, 4 guys, and you might share a car. So you're at the show, and then you're driving 3 hours with them. So you're staying at the same hotel. Then you get up together, have breakfast, go to the gym, go to the show. So you're with these guys, outside of the 8 hours you're sleeping for, the whole entire day for 4 or 5 days in a row before you go home to your family. You see them more than you do see your family. So it's a whole world unto itself. And there's a community. So we use, we joke the word brother for virtually everybody we come in contact with, which is, I mean, I kind of just like a riff on Hulk Hogan calling everyone brother. But we've kind of taken it and like literally everyone, I used to joke about it. I'm like, you're a brother. The girls are brothers. Like everyone's a brother just because like that's the kind of family bond it feels like.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's a hell of a.
Cheers to that.
Awesome, guys.
Yeah, you're here.
You guys.
I'm grabbing the sherry again. I love the sherry, and the Discovery's fantastic, but the sherry just to me is a good punch right in the mouth.
Blend all 3.
It's awesome.
Little crazy BBC Infinity glass.
I mean,
Good.
I got my sweet Bardstown glasses right here.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Oh, you're fancy too. I also have one from my t-shirt line, my Liars Club.
You had Liars Club Glencairns made?
Oh,
Yes. Well, a buddy of mine made them for me.
That's awesome. Well, I'll take that. That's a good note to end on. I'll take that chance to wrap it up. So I want to say thanks to Dan and John from Bardstown Bourbon Company. Thank you once again for coming on here and talking us through the latest and greatest. And I absolutely do not disagree. Truly some of the best stuff that's come out so far, which only shines brighter things for the future. So thank you guys first and foremost for being here.
Yeah, I'd say thank you to you guys also, and I think the next natural step in this relationship is to get you guys on site when things clear up.
I was going to say, I know where we're going with that.
110%.
And
110%.
make a day of it, an evening of it, and we'll have a great time. Obviously, we're excited to have you guys down. So
Absolutely.
awesome. Thanks again.
And we'll decide if we tell Greg or not, but we'll see. But Corbs, thank you as always for being here too, buddy. Thank you to your Twitch stream friends.
Hey, make sure everybody on the Twitch is following it. Make sure you follow these guys on Instagram. Aiden, shout out your handles.
Yeah, and everybody out on Twitch, you can find me, Drama King Matt. pretty much everywhere. Wrestling with Whiskey as well on Instagram and Twitter. I'm on Twitch under Drama King Matt as well if you guys haven't stumbled over that way yet. So feel free to come join.
And then they can follow the Bardstown Instagram. You guys have Twitter as well, right?
Yep. Right?
Possibly.
I've tagged him in things, so I hope it's real.
I mean, I tag them all the time, so you guys will see it in my tags.
Yeah, and you got Johnny Whiskey right here, and then I'm Danny Bardstown on Instagram.
I don't have Johnny. I'm gonna have to follow you. I don't have yours on there.
Yeah, I just picked it up not too long ago, so
you're new. I like it.
I post deal everything with Bardstown Bourbon Company. Get behind the scenes pictures, videos of how whiskey's made. So it's
tell everybody that handle so they get it.
Johnny.whiskey. So,
Boom. That's whiskey with an E.
That's whiskey with an E.
For sure. A lot of those Europeans out there.
Yep. All right, gentlemen. Cheers.
That's awesome.
All
Cheers,
right.
guys.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much for being here.
Take care.